When you hear minimalist home, you may think of bare white walls and empty rooms, but that's not my reality. My home is warm and lived in, but still has far less than the average American household. Today, I'm opening the door to you so that you can see how to bring some of these cozy minimalist vibes into your own home. Hi, I'm Emily, and today I'll be taking you on a full minimalist home tour. I'm going to be showing you where I've kept things intentionally simple, the areas I've chosen comfort over clutter, and how I found a balance between cozy and minimal. Well, let's get started here in my living room. Behind me, you can see my built-ins in the living room, and I have these pretty much entirely empty with the exception of the urns and the quilts that are in the top cabinets. There's lidded baskets right under the quilts, and those are completely empty. And then these cabinets and drawers are also empty. I do have one little stack of games for my son in one of the cabinets, but other than that, these are just here to fill some space, and I didn't really feel compelled to fill it up with contents. It just sort of makes my house feel fuller than it actually is, and I think that makes it feel kind of cozy. That's not the only empty space in this area of my house. I also have some end tables that are empty. So this end table here is a round drum, and I don't know what you would put in something that's round. I never opened this, and so it is a completely empty piece of furniture. I also like to keep side tables pretty emptied, and I think that this is really nice just to have a spot to be able to set a drink down and that kind of thing. Seasonally, I'll add a little bit of decor on the side tables, but I really keep it pretty simple most of the time. As you can see, I've got some animals living their best life on my sofa, but I do choose larger pillows and fewer pillows, but I definitely like pillows. That makes things feel cozy, so I don't do without, but I do choose things that are pretty big. Like this one over here is the size of a Eurosham that goes on a bed. Okay, I'm taking you into a little bit more personal of a space, and that is our powder bathroom. This is where I get ready every morning. And yes, the countertop is quite small, but that works just fine because I do keep my personal care items pretty minimal. So I keep all of my personal care items right here in this little bin from Target, and it holds everything I use every day for both day and night. I don't keep options. I don't keep things I would like to try. I don't even really want to try anything. I really just want to have these couple of things, and this gets me and my son ready every day. This is my makeup bag, and I keep all of the makeup that I use every single day, and I don't keep anything extra in here. I don't have special occasion makeup or anything like that. I just wear more makeup, so just layer it on a little bit thicker if I have an event to go to or something like that. This is our garage entry, and it's our front entry, and so this space works very hard in our home. I didn't have a place to put a mudroom, so I decided to make our hall closet into the best kind of mudroom I could manage. So this houses our shoes, our coats, our winter gear, all of that, and it works really nicely for our family. In order for it to fit in here, I do keep things that are not seasonal out of this closet and just rotate what's appropriate seasonally in at the right time. My husband and I do not share this same persuasion. I'm also under the impression that you don't need a ton of coat options. So I have a light jacket that I wear for the spring and the fall. I have a heavy winter coat for very cold days, and I have a dressy coat for special occasions during the winter months. You might be surprised to hear that this file box holds all of the files for my entire family. And yes, we do keep things for the recommended amount of time, but you need far less paperwork than you think. We don't really have a digital system. We just keep what absolutely must be kept, and we get rid of everything else. I also keep a home reference binder, which is right here. And this is a binder that I use for keeping anything that's related to improvements or other things that we've done to our home. This is something that if we ever sell this home, would go to the next owner. So I keep those things separate so that it's easily transferable if we ever decided to sell this home. Now, if you're like me, you've probably gotten rid of a lot of cookbooks in your home, but I have just one cookbook in my entire house, and honestly I probably could live without it, except that it has one of my very best friend's handwriting in it, so I have kept it for sentimental reasons, believe it or not. But mostly I rely on digital recipes at this point in my life. And for family favorites, I just keep those in the OneNote app in my phone. Now, I am not one to store very much food in my home, so I keep just what we need for that week, and then a few extra items. I usually have a few canned beans, canned tomatoes, and extra condiments. on hand, but we don't eat a whole lot of food that is shelf stable. And so for the most part, we rely on our freezer for anything that we're storing for the future. And otherwise, we just buy from week to week. Even during times that were crazier than others, this has been just fine. And so we are trusting that all will be fine if we just keep a reasonable amount of food on hand. Even my fridge is quite minimal. I just keep a couple of meal prepped containers of things that we will be eating off of all week, not in small servings, but just in large family-friendly serving dishes. And I keep the items that we need on hand for breakfast and lunches and snacks. Other than that, we don't keep a bunch of extra salad dressings or condiments or choices or sauces or ingredients that we'd use only one time. If the recipe requires me to buy an ingredient that I don't already have and wouldn't use in the future, like a spice or a sauce, I probably would just skip the recipe. Now in my kitchen, I do have a couple of empty cabinets. This one up here is my seasonal cabinet, and so depending on the season, it has things in it or doesn't, but has things like my spiralizer that I only use during the summer when I have zucchini from the garden, or the popsicle molds during the summer. And so I just keep things that I would need during a specific season that I don't need to be keeping out all the time. The cabinet's a little harder to get to, and so it's accessible enough that I don't have to go down to my basement or something like that, but only holds seasonal items. And then this one above the fridge is truly empty. And I know for a lot of people it's probably truly empty because it is so hard to get to, but it's a pretty good sized cabinet. And so it certainly is an area that you could use for storage, but I have opted out of that. If I can't reach it, I really don't want to use it for storage. So this is my Tupperware cabinet. And it is a little bit bare because my dishwasher is running, but I keep a stack of about four of these and 4 of these. And these are 11 cup containers and these are 3 cup containers. And then I also have these glass containers up above that are 9x13 pans with white lids, and I use those for family style meal prep. And then this white bin here holds all of the lids for all of these containers. I have found that larger containers really are better, so I put things either as like meal kits or family style meal servings rather than individual servings. I'm more likely to pull everything out at once, and usually it means I have to bring out fewer containers because I can put like the taco meat and the rice all in one 9x13 pan, so that it makes it really easy to get that out for a weeknight meal. In this cabinet, I keep small appliances, and I think this is an area that differentiates me as well. I have an Instant Pot, a crock pot, and a mixer and a food processor. I also have an Almond Cow, which is like a milk maker, which I do enjoy, but I don't use very often, and it might be leaving my house at some point. But this is all of the small appliances that I keep on hand, and if I can do it without a small appliance, I surely will, because this is the amount of space that I want to dedicate to storing these things. In here too, I just have 2 sheet pans because that's the number that I can fit in my oven at once, and I don't need another one because I can just rotate them through and cook 2 pans at once and then go ahead and use the pan again. I also keep baking dishes that I would actually use, so just the right number for me, a couple of pie pans and 9x13 pans and ceramic servingware and that sort of thing. I don't keep fancy pans like bundt pans, specialty cake pans, anything like that. I just don't do enough of that sort of thing to make that worthwhile. I only have 1 hot pad mitt and 2 hot pads that I use, and I keep these in my drawer, and then I do keep 2 extras in my roasting pan, so during holidays and that sort of thing, I have a couple of extras that I can grab for. My mom has an entire drawer of just hot pads, and I'm not sure if that's what other people are doing, but it feels like, what are you making that you need that many, you know? I've just never found myself in that situation. Okay, we've made it into my son's room, and in here, the primary thing that I keep really minimal is children's clothing. I don't worry a whole lot about toys, though we don't have a bunch of big toys, but clothing is something that I have chosen to keep very simple with my son. This is my son's closet. It's a walk-in closet. The space is about 5x5. And in this space, we have his shirts that I hang up. We have about 10 of like the same shirt, but with just a couple different patterns. I keep wipes up on that shelf that are extras to refill in the bathrooms as needed. And then I do have 1 bin, which I use for keeping items that he needs to still grow into that are either hand-me-downs or items that I bought on sale. Right now, that has the long sleeve version of his favorite shirts. Will be ready when fall hits. This is a nightstand, and up to this point, my son is almost 5. I've been able to use this as his dresser, and it is still working quite well for me. This drawer here is empty. This drawer here holds pants, and this drawer here holds shorts. This is all of his clothing. Everything except for a few shirts are cleaned and ironed, and that is everything that he has, and it works just fine for our family. Well, let's take a quick peek into my linen closet, which is fairly minimal, but of course it has things that all linen closets have: extra cleaning supplies, extra towels, all of that kind of thing. We just keep one extra set of towels and one extra set of sheets per bed in our house, and that works very well. In other seasons of my life, I have done just fine with no extra towels and no extra sheets, but it has been nice to have one extra set. However, when I get a new set, I don't feel the need to keep that set forevermore. When I replace my towels, I just go ahead and donate the old ones to the animal shelter. I don't need to have a complete catalog and library of my entire life in linens. You're wondering, yes, we do have some towels for gross situations, but you know, just like when you pack for a vacation and you pack more underwear than you could ever possibly have a need for, you know, same thing, you do not need nearly as many junk towels as you have on hand. What do you think is going to happen? We have disgusting animals and, you know, other situations for people who are under 5, and it is still just fine with just 2 junk towels. We also have 2 pool towels, and we have 2 extra guest pool towels. If we needed to take them on a vacation, they're nice and lightweight because they're Turkish towels, or we could also bring somebody with us to the pool with those towels. This is my laundry room, and the biggest thing I would say here is I don't keep a bunch of options. So I have detergent, I have vinegar, which I use as a softener, and I have OxiClean. For the most part, that handles everything that I need to wash. I also have an OxiClean liquid spray that I use on things that have a tough stain that I need to get out. If it doesn't come out with that stain, it wasn't that precious anyways, you know, I just move it along. But truly, I don't feel like I need a bunch of options in my laundry room. This is my single laundry basket. I keep it in my closet, and every time it fills up, it's about 1 load of laundry. So I just go ahead and start the load and do a load a day, and that helps me to keep the laundry monster away. By not having multiple hampers, I don't have to run around and find everything. I can just know that it's time to do a load. No, I don't sort. I just do 1 load every day. In our house, the laundry room is also where I wrap gifts, and so this drawer holds all of our gift wrap. It is wide enough that I can put rolls of wrapping paper. So I have some wrapping paper back here, and then I have some basic bags. These bags I have in various sizes, and they are just the craft paper bag. I use various colors of butcher's twine just to dress things up for whatever holiday or occasion we are going to. At the end of a season like Christmas, I go ahead and get rid of any extra wrapping paper. I just buy 1 signature wrap for the whole year, so that way I don't have to keep a lot of options on hand, and then I usually use it up, but if I have a little bit of extra, I'll go ahead and donate it at the end of the year. Now in my bedroom, you're gonna find several minimal things as well. For example, in here, I have just 1 big throw pillow, and the rest of the pillows on our bed are the pillows we use to sleep on, just in normal pillowcases. It's not gonna win any awards, but it's decorative enough. And I think that it looks very nice, but I don't have a whole lot of things to do when I have to make the bed. I also have this built in here, and this doesn't have any drawers or anything like that in it. The carpenter I used to build that said he certainly could put drawers in it, but I opted not to have storage because if I have a place to store stuff, I'm likely to store stuff in it. I have several places in my house, including this cabinet back here, that I really just put out mostly to take up big amounts of space in my house. And so this is something I found on Facebook Marketplace for $300. It is 11 feet wide, and it fills this wall nearly perfectly in my room. I do keep memorabilia and things that are special to our life in the top cabinet, almost like a living scrapbook. But these bottom cabinets, they don't have anything in them, so totally empty. You'll notice that my nightstand is empty, and it's pretty much like that except when I'm in bed, and then my phone is plugged in next to me and my glasses are next to me. But I love to just have a surface to set the things down that I would like to set down. I also like to keep 1 drawer empty, and in this I keep my pajamas that I wore the night before, and I just wear them for 1 more night. But it's so nice to have 1 drawer that's just for that. As I shared with you earlier, I get ready every day in the powder bathroom, and so this vanity is largely unused, at least by me. My husband does use at least just the top surface of it, and he uses the top drawers, but he doesn't prefer to use the cabinets, so we keep very little in the cabinets. So this vanity, which is about 8 feet long, is nearly empty of contents, which I love. There's room to grow if we ever feel like we want to store a bunch of stuff, but for now, we can just leave it empty and enjoy that about it. Now, I know this is not the most aesthetic place in my house, but this is all of my clothing for both seasons. So I have dresses over here, I have winter and fall clothes over here, and I have spring, summer clothes over here. I have 2 pairs of jeans and the belts for the various dresses right here, and a couple of out-of-season shoes, and that's it. So I don't keep clothing elsewhere. I don't have a separate closet for it or anything like that. This is all the clothing I have. I don't even have a dresser. Now, under the bed is a popular storage place for many American households, but in my house, the only thing we keep under it is our fire ladder. Well, I hope this has been a refreshing tour for you. And of course, it's not perfect, just like anybody's house, but I hope it's given you some great ideas that you can incorporate in your own home to make it more cozy and more minimal so that you can have more peace of mind.